And we are live for the WMMA Today podcast. It is the 2021 award show. I'm your host, Drake Riggs, here with you as always. Thank you so much for tuning in. Happy to be here. The Scrap. Welcome to 2022, everybody. Does it feel different? Not yet, unfortunately, but hey, that's just how it goes. Steve, my co-host, will be here. Do not worry. I know he's been gone for a couple weeks, but he will be back in time for the awards at least. Just has a little bit of a delay today, but he will be showing up. Thank you so much for tuning in, though. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. Get it out of the way early, right? Hit the notification bell if you have not yet, so then you always know when we're going live or releasing new content here at The Scrap on the YouTube channel. And if you're joining us and watching live on Twitter, make sure you go over to YouTube if you want to interact with comments and all that kind of thing, because we'll not be able to see them if you post them on comment on Twitter. They don't go to the same place, unfortunately, as if you're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all the other locations. So YouTube's the place you want to be if you want to interact with the chat and all that kind of thing. Unless you're watching in the future and hearing this on replay or on Spotify and Anchor, where the audio-only versions are uploaded every day after the Mondays at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time when we do this show. So, yeah. The housekeeping out of the way. How was everybody's New Year's? Thank you so much again for tuning in. I am still in shock from what we will be speaking about soon, of course. This is still a regular episode of WMMA Today, so that means we will be recapping Ryzen 33, opening the mailbag, talking about the news, which there's a pretty good amount of news and some very good fights that were made. There will be a Phantom Punch breakdown, and then instead of ending with the Phantom Punch breakdown, we will be ending with the award show, because the best for last, that's what this whole episode is about. No fights to preview. Perfect way to start 2022 with celebrating the things that happened last year. Always a fun time. As you can see, got the bow tie out for this episode. Have to be fancy. So everybody get in your predictions for the Phantom Punch breakdown, as we're starting to do now. I like it. I think it's a fun little mini game within the show. So what is up, everybody? Good to see you. Jin, Rue is here. Jimmy is here. Alvin, good evening to you. He says, I hope you had a great New Year's. I did. I hope you did as well. It was a very typically crazy New Year's. We'll leave it at that. Citrus says, hello, Team Magnum. And yes, agreed. Scott says, what is up? What is up, man? Thank you for tuning in. Good to see you, Ghost Phantom. Rain says no. Ayaka. Rue says, such a sad day to end the new year with an Ayaka loss. Well, let's get into that. My goodness, as Jimmy, before we get into it, makes his first prediction. Kana Watanabe to kick off 2022 Phantom Punch breakdown, the first of the year. That would be perfectly fitting. That would be perfectly fitting. So great first start. And as I say, I've been saying every week, they're all great guesses, right? So you really should not listen to me, but I like it. As Rue predicts Valentina, who is definitely a nominee for one of the awards this year. Will she have one? You have to stick around and find out, as some of these were a little bit hard to pick. But either way, you mentioned it. Let's get into it. The Ryzen 33 recap. I still cannot believe what I have seen and saw. I don't think my breath has ever been taken away as much as it was from what happened on the 30th here in the States. I guess the 31st morning of, at Ryzen 33 over in the Saitama Super Arena, when Sayaka Izawa did the unthinkable and defeated Ayaka Hamasaki at the 250 mark via TK fucking O ground and pound. I mean, I'm still speechless. I am still absolutely blown away by this victory. It was fairly dominant. Like, it was fair. It wasn't too difficult of a of a fight for her. And you guys know, and I think those who have been following Seka's career to this point as closely as I guess anybody who has followed her career, because once you see one fight of hers, you're instantly going to want to see the rest of the things that she's been able to do. We knew that she was the real deal and the future, right? Called her the best prospect in MMA, along with Aaron Blanchfield, who was a guest right there, who guessed Aaron Cintro. Very nice. And Jin saying maybe it's Izawa week. Ghost did warn us not to underestimate her. Were you guys not listening to me? I've been saying this for weeks, for months, all year. Sekizawa. I mean, even though it's the fact that she's capable of this isn't surprising, just seeing it actually come to fruition in such a short period of time is mind-blowing, breathtaking. I mean, a fighter who just began her career in the end of 2020, taking out a GOAT in her 5th fight. And like that, finishing Hamasaki at atomweight and winning, utilizing grappling for the most part, right? I mean, it was I still don't know what to say about it because it was just so insane. And now we have a new best in the world. Sekezawa takes the throne, the lineal champion. We will get an immediate rematch. You absolutely have to. And because for whatever reason, this was a non-title fight, which is always very stupid. But I mean, just incredible. One of the craziest things I've seen in this sport for sure, especially just when you follow the stories. Yeah. What a rise. What a very, very quick rise. Prospect no more. Prospect no more. The future is now. My goodness. Scott predicts Carlos Esparza fan of punch at the end of the show. Alvin also believes it'll be Sayeka week. Wouldn't be mad at that. Chuck is here. Thank you. Good to see you, Chuck. He says everyone was sleeping on the girl. Yes, even though I don't know if that would even be the case. I think it was more that people just didn't know who Sayeka was. So the thing to me was that everybody needs to start paying more attention to Deep Jewels, because we'll get into it after this. But what a last couple months for the Deep Jewels alumni and champions, obviously, who are now all in the top 5. There have been 3 Deep Jewels girls who launched themselves into the top 5 of this division before the year was over. And it's just crazy. It's very cool to see. It's refreshing. It's kind of needed. But yeah, this was just insane. I'm very, very, very excited for a rematch, and obviously very, very heartbroken for Ayaka, to see her lose like that. But all class, a total champion in defeat, taking it in stride. Will probably come back stronger than ever, as she does in general. Only 3 losses before this. The last one was to Ham in a very close fight. This one was not close. Then before that was obviously the Souza one at 115. Before that was Claudia at 115. My goodness. I mean, the up kicks from Mizawa, the armbar attempt early on, kind of an omoplata. I was getting worried about a go-go plata there for a second. I mean, she's just, it's insane how she's risen to these occasions in the biggest moments, right? The Miki Matono rematch where she won the strawweight title. One of my favorite performances of the year. Absolutely fantastic armbar. We broke it down a couple weeks ago with Ghost. And then this one. Her only 2 finishes in MMA. Like her decision wins have been great too. She looks awesome in those. But like showing up and showing out calm as a cucumber in her Ryzen fucking debut on New Year's Eve, no less. Like this, the massive amounts of pressure that any regular human would have would have fallen to bits here. But she was smiling the whole way, the whole week really, seemed fine. I am dying to pick her brain about just the whole experience, because it's just her story is insane. And I believe Chuck actually informed me about it, how she the only reason she's in MMA right now is because COVID shut down judo tournaments. Is that true? I mean, holy shit, like that. This is one of the greatest upsets of all time, easily one of the greatest wins of all time. Um, I mean, man. And with that in mind, as we get more into it, because I could talk about this forever because it's still insane to me. We are going to do the awards at the end of the show, but I figured it was only fair to group Sayaka's awards together here at the start because we're already talking about her and I want to talk about it now. So, of course, Sayaka Izawa is getting some awards for 2021. How can she not? Perhaps the greatest first year an MMA fighter has ever fucking had. How is it not? I mean, I remember like BJ Penn, what was that, his first year in MMA when he came into the UFC and all that, but he didn't come in and beat a goat at the end of the year and win all these fights. I know he obviously did, but I'd have to look more in depth to that. But it's just crazy to me, that she was able to do this. Tell me if I'm going too hard there, but either way, we have to hand out some awards to Starflower. She earned them rightfully so. So without further ado, the first awards of the year, you guys, Sayaka Izawa, our first awards of the award show will be Sayaka Izawa earning the Breakthrough Fighter of the Year and Performance of 2021. Congratulations to her. Steals the Breakthrough Fighter of the Year award right out from under her fellow Deep Jewels champion, Saori Oshima, who Steve and I were feeling was a pretty good case, obviously a nominee. 4 fights in 2021, becomes a double champ, wins the atomweight tournament in Deep Jewels to become the double champ, microweight and atomweight champion. Then gets that upset over Kana Asakura at RIZIN 31, if I remember correctly. But Sayaka coming in and beating Ayaka Hamasaki, the champion, the way that she did, kind of seals that deal. And Sayaka also won a title this year. Now she is was already destined for superstardom, but now that has been progressed. And just the fact that she was able to do what she did, perform the way that she did under all the pressure I already mentioned against Ayaka Hamasaki is almost indescribable. So that is the performance of 2021, the WMA Today awards, whatever you want to say. Just still can't fully process it. I even rewatched again today. And it was just like, just how calm she was in there. The up kicks again, and looked, I mean, obviously wasn't on the feet very long, but looked pretty comfortable there. It was like the first 30 seconds of each round. In that first 30 seconds of the entire fight, landed a very nice right hand and then shot in right behind it to get a hold of Hamasaki, picked her up, got her in the corner, kind of held her for, a decent moment there, and eventually got her on the ground. And Hamasaki flipped her over with the Kimura kind of grip, which was very beautiful and not surprising. It was like, all right, there we go. And then shortly after, Sayaka did Sayaka things. An absolute prodigy. So congratulations to her on an incredible start to her career. And my goodness, to say the sky is the limit is an understatement. Absolute understatement. Yeah. And Ghost here, as he's getting questions, says predictions are useless. You can break down and study the fighters all you guys want, but at the end of the day, it's fighting. You never know what is going to happen. Indeed, the most unpredictable sport out there. Safe to say. So we can move on. I am probably going to ask Steve what his thoughts on this were as we conclude the show, because I'm dying to know. I haven't talked to him about it. Yeah. And Sincho saying didn't go say in the last breakdown that Izawa strikes into her takedowns. That is exactly what she did in that sequence I just described. The very first 30 seconds of this fight. And then even in the second round a little bit. Yeah, I mean, that's when you're putting it all together. She did that very beautifully. She has been doing that most of her career, and it's good to see. It's very good to see, and clearly it's paying off. So she's something else. Can't say enough good things. If you couldn't tell. But again, does suck for Ayaka, but she will be back for that rematch, which, my goodness, that can't come soon enough. So congratulations again to Starflower, taking the top spot in the atomweight division, just like that. Insane. Insanity. People better open their eyes a little bit. As James says, he's so sad for Hamasaki. Yes, yes, I know. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. But there was another fight on the card, which we will get right into right now. And another upset, not nearly as big. Don't know what the odds were for Ayaka and Seka, but I did see some rather ignorant odds for Siwu Park versus Reina Kubota, where Siwu ended up getting the split decision victory in a very fun back and forth battle. But what I was getting at was I saw odds, I think, saying Reina was up around 2,300, minus 2,300, some crazy shit right there that just proves whoever made those odds had no idea who Siwu Park was, which is a guarantee because some of the odds makers for women's fights, as we've ranted about earlier in 2021, are just completely clueless. So they go with the person they know. And if it's somebody like Reina, then yeah, they're going to give them quite the edge. But Siwu Park also breaks into the top 5 here. I mean, my goodness. Knew that she was capable of hanging here. Knew it would be a very good, very fun fight. I was really impressed with the way she mixed up kind of her grappling. Didn't see that coming. I said last week that I thought if we were going to see this fight go to the ground, that Reina would maybe take it there. Probably stupid of me to assume that in hindsight and kind of forgetting that Siwu trains with Miyu. So that's kind of just me overlooking that for whatever reason. But they did throw down for most of this fight. Both landed very good shots. I saw a lot of people kind of thought that Reina should have won this one, and obviously one judge did believe that. But rewatching this one again today, and even on the first watch, I thought that Park did edge it. Very good though, pretty close, but I felt pretty fine with Siwu Park getting the win here. You know, lots of good exchanges back and forth. Reina definitely, you know, was a bit more aggressive than we'd seen her in a while, and kind of had to be, I think, when you're going against a striker like that. So good performance from both ladies. I don't think it's a bad loss for Reina, but obviously, again, people just got to start paying attention to who these people are that are coming up, because they're no slouches. I mean, in some cases you can see it, like with if we're going to be honest, it was Alver. I don't even remember her first name, that Reina fought, I think, like 5 fights ago. You know, it was at the beginning of her current or previous winning streak that she had before this fight. And she, yeah, that was a layup. That was a gimme. So, you know, it happens sometimes, but this was definitely not that. And I don't think anyone should have assumed that. But clearly, people just don't pay attention, I guess, in some cases. So, very fun fight, though. Really like this one. Ghost says, good thing we have Rain. Lamina saying that he picked Reina after Panchan beat Park last week. Even after I told you guys that Reina and Reina do different things. Getting snippy, Ghost. Getting snippy here. As Rain admits ignorance on my part. Using the MMA math. And Cintro says, did you guys see the exchange with Panchan and Park after the fight? Google Translate made it seem that Panchan was mad. I saw Panchan comment on it. I don't see if they commented to each other, but from what I saw, I didn't interpret it as her being mad. It kind of sounded like she might want to fight her again from what I saw, but I don't know. I'd have to look at it again. Unless they did go back and forth, like you're saying, Cintro, then that would be a different thing than what I saw, because that's not what I saw. James says, maybe the fan of punch is Siwu Park in this fight. Maybe it is. We'll have to wait and see. And Jimmy says, Steve must be mad. I'm sure that he is upset. And if he'll definitely be mad if he thought that Reina should have won. But I don't know. I thought it was pretty not easy to pick, but again, felt that Siwu pulled it out there. And yes, Panchan, friend of the show, of course, friend of the podcast. But okay, apparently Sintra says they did go back and forth a little after commenting. Interesting. Maybe we could see a rematch there. Don't think it would be an MMA, but I'm sure that Siwu wouldn't be mad at running that back in kickboxing in RIZIN. Why not? But either way, this makes things very interesting as well. And it's just kind of crazy too when you look at the Izawa Hamasaki fight happening on the same night here. And, Hamasaki and Reina, both very good friends, training partners, kind of student mentor relationship. And then Izawa and Siwu Park are kind of the new breed up and comers, and they just fought each other. That was Izawa's atomweight debut. And then they go here after fighting each other and beat both of them. Kind of funny how that played out. And yes, James, still doing the Reina weight because it's Reina weight. I mean, it's she's the only one that fights at 110. So it is Reina weight as far as I'm concerned. And now she has suffered not her first loss at Reina weight, I don't think. I think that the Lindsay Van Zant first fight was at 112. I don't remember. It was around there, 112, 110. I guess they could both be Reina weight. I don't know, but either way. Jinsane, Park versus Asakura next, or Oshima. This is a pretty big win, right, guys? Yeah, not a bad. I mean, like I said, she's top 5 now. Reina, after beating Miyu, launched herself into top 5. Even though fighting at Reina weight, launches herself into top 5 of Reina did after beating Miyu. Because, I mean, her ultimate goal was to, fight for a title or one of those other top people. So Reina was top 5. So Park beating her automatically puts her in there. As far as I'm concerned, I could show you guys my rankings if you'd like to see them. They do exist. They are on paper, not on paper, but digitally on paper. So yeah, I think that Park versus Sakura, that could be fine. Wakana has lost 2 in a row though, so that'd be tough if she lost a third. I think that Siwu could be a decently favorable matchup for her. Oshima trilogy fight. Yeah, that could also happen. But I don't know. Park versus Asakura, I might lean towards more than that one. Gets interesting there. Or again, in the meanwhile, we could see Park versus Panchan too in kickboxing in RIZIN. Who knows? Or maybe, yeah. There's it's a lot more interesting now, I would say. So, oh well, I mean, Rue with the good point. What about Park versus Hamasaki? Depends on how the rematch goes, because I promise you guys, Izawa and Park are going to Izawa and Hamasaki will have their immediate rematch. It will be for the title this time. Again, don't know why it wasn't in the first place. Seika Izawa, the lineal true, she's the lineal true champion at atomweight. So now she's a double champ if you want to think about it. And then if she beats Hamasaki twice, my goodness, absurd that would be. And then just making it official with having the hardware. But now we'll see Hamasaki and Izawa rematch first if we are to see Park versus Hamasaki. That one could make sense after, though. Let's say that she loses. If Ayaka loses again, that would be fine. But then maybe it could open up the Oshima potential. Don't know. Jin says, but I thought the belt wasn't on the line for Izawa. It wasn't in this one. It wasn't in this fight that just happened. But she beat her, so it'll be on the line the next time. It's the exact same thing as what happened with Kai Asakura and Kyoji Horiguchi in their first fight. So Yeah. And Rain says, Rena Panchan cameo for this RIZIN event. Was she there? Was she at this one? I know that she was talking about it and obviously talked about this fight, but Kana was there. I know that Kana was in attendance. She was, I think she was helping somebody. Oh, she was there with Yuki Matoya. So shout out to Kana, also a friend of the show. Obviously, Kana Army, get the flags out, wave them while you can. She was there at RIZIN 33. So that was fun. But yeah, so that's RIZIN 33, you guys. Always fun shows to end the new year. It was a pretty long show, but there were a lot of fights, more upsets than just this one, or these two. Obviously, Hiro Masa, Ugi Kubo getting 2 in one night, beating Naoki and Kai in their rematch. My goodness, how great did he look? If you saw that, Shibatar doing Shibatar things. I mean, this event was pretty crazy, as they always are on New Year's Eve, but that's why we love it. So until next New Year's for a RIZIN New Year's Eve show, of course, because it wouldn't be without that. So we will move along now to the mailbag, which is very light. And initially, I was thinking about just not even doing the mailbag this week, but since still waiting on Steve, I'm going to try and drag it out a little bit. So if you guys have any questions at all, please feel free to interact and let's get this thing going. And I guess while we're here, if you are watching on Twitter, I will remind you again, head on over to the YouTube channel or the YouTube link video of this instead if you want to comment and all that kind of thing, because I cannot see them on Twitter. I don't know why. Don't know why it doesn't connect here on StreamYard, but that's just how it goes. So the place to be is YouTube. And while you're there, subscribe, like, really goes a long way. Really appreciate that kind of thing. Really helps us out. So please, 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 it's still a click of a button. Little gesture you could do. You don't have to, but I'm just saying. So we'll crack open the mailbag here. For now, let's pull it on up, as it's our boy Scott, who is coming in clutch here with the mailbag recently, as he's saying, "What's up, Coolios?" New nickname. And he's asking, can we each give our favorite women's fight where the challenger vanquishes and stops the trash-talking bully favorite? Thanks. Hashtag 2022 Packers Titans Super Bowl, baby. Not so sure about that second team, but I like the first one. I mean, the Titans are number one right now in the AFC, aren't they? So if they get Derrick Henry back, I will feel a lot more confident about that prediction, Scott. But if I'm to make a guess right now, I fingers crossed so much that it'll beat the Packers. And then on the other side, I have no idea. I really don't about the AFC. Could be the Titans, but I don't know. AFC is a tough one to pick. Bengals are looking pretty goddamn good. Bengals, Packers, maybe. We'll see. Jamar Chase, freak this week. And that rhymed. But anyway, he asks, can you give your favorite women's fight where the challenger vanquishes and stops the trash talking bully favorite? So this doesn't specify with champion, but when you read challenger, I always think of champion involved. And, you know, when you think about it, I feel like there hasn't been a whole lot of cases where, you know, there's crazy amounts of trash talk between women, and especially at like a super high level, like in title fights, whether it's UFC or whatever. Obviously, Ronda Misha comes to mind for rivalries and that kind of thing. Claudia and Joanna, pretty heated one for a little bit there. But for me personally, and if you know me, I have an easy answer to this, which would be The Ultimate Fighter Season 20. Randa Marcos defeating Felice Herrig, the famous bubble pop at the stare downs, if you remember that. Which, it's so funny to think. I haven't thought about that in a while, but that is what a moment that was. And then goes on to beat her with the kind of scarf hold armbar with the legs that we see Ayaka Miura doing all the time. And that one was that was a very big win for Randa, and obviously progressed her through the tournament to eventually be stopped by Rose. But hey, that was a pretty great example of what you're talking about there, Scott, I would say. And really got a lot of people to get behind Randa on that season, introduce us to her and many others. So the strawweights, that was where the title was decided there. And Jimmy says, is it Yusuf asking about distance control? No, Yusuf has not asked in a while. Running meme, running joke. I get it. And Jin saying, speaking of Kyoji Horiguchi, did you guys see Brian Campbell say that was the best thing to happen for Pettis and always love to see Asia fail on Morning Combat? Okay, there's no way he said that, Jin, unless it was joking. And yes, I saw the whole saga with that, but I'm not buying that. That was a serious comment, if that was even said, because that just sounds too absurd. Very much ridiculous. Scott says, nice. I hadn't thought about that fight in a while. I know, right? It's crazy to think that it has been, 2013 is when that happened. So that was a very long time ago at this point. Great, almost 10 years. Absolutely nuts. So, and welcome, Mary. She says, hello, I saw your Zhang Weili breakdown. Drake, very informative. Looking forward to more since I moved from Shenzhen to San Diego. Well, welcome to the States. And thank you for the great comment. But I have to admit, it was not my breakdown. It is Ghost Phantom, who is one of our moderators here. He is very, very talented. I'm just the narrator. Thank you so much for checking it out, though. And glad you liked it. So he is a wizard, and we will have another Phantom Punch breakdown coming soon here on the show. More towards the end before we get to the awards, as we still await Steve, who should hopefully be here soon. But yeah, great to have you, Mary. Thank you for tuning in, and glad that you liked one of the Zhang Weili breakdowns, as we've had multiple. He is very good at those. And again, welcome to the States. Hope you like it so far. Long way from home. So. And Scott says, and I live downtown in Nashville. So yes, the Titans are going all the way. Drake. All right. Fair enough, man. Fair enough. And all right, Jin giving me timestamps here. All right, I'll have to put it in my notes. It's at 39:42. I'm going to do it. I will check it out. Not right now, but I'll hold you to it, buddy. So, all right. So that was all we had in the mailbag. I mean, Sammy did ask something in the mailbag, but I'm not going to answer it because I already answered it on the show last week when we talked about it, or whenever it was. But if you guys would like to see what Sammy asked, just let me know and I can show you real quick. I mean, I guess I should just do it because there's no point in not now that I've mentioned it, but I don't see any point, Sammy, in commenting back on it when commented on it already when it happened initially. So Sammy said, do you believe this is a good strategy for a fighter to improve? Will adding techniques to defeat a fighter help the same fighter for a different fight? And he's addressing Ghost Phantom, saying if you're an elite fighter and having trouble with something, that thing is going to give other fighters trouble. And then also said this comment of, yep, Jose Aldo is the best example. Added McGregor's pull counter against Holloway. He adds the things that gave him trouble in all his fights. I just don't see, I don't know why you're asking that, Sammy, when we literally talked about that already. So no offense to you, man, but I feel like we addressed that quite easily or already. So no need there, but don't worry, you guys. Steve is now in the background, so he will be hopping in soon. Looks like he's setting his camera up a little bit, but Steve is here, so good news. But yeah, I don't see the point in talking about it already. But Ghost says he's got it, and he will add something since we did already talk about it. Yeah, I don't get it, but that was the mailbag. And Steve, if you can hear me, feel free to pop on in whenever you're ready, unless you need help with that. before we get to the news, so good timing there. And as we await Ghost Phantom's response to Sammy's mailbag inquiry, which again is a repeat. So, Sammy, feel free to just come back on when we're live, man, unless you can't make it anymore. But I know you used to come in here. It's been pretty good and clean and friendly since you were last here. So, you know. All right, what do we got? Oh, he's giving us Ghost says, Art of War 1423. Take what defeated you and make it your strength. That's how Halo made Ground and Pound. There you go. So, some Art of War quotes. But, all right. Steve, how you doing over there? I can see him moving his camera around. Helio Gracie. Okay. Sorry about that. I was going to say, I was a little confused by that, but Helio Gracie meant that's how he made Ground and Pound. All right. So, again, Steve will pop in whenever he's ready, but let's move on to the news while we wait. And we will kick things off with a batch of fight announcements for Deep Jewels 36, which was announced for March 12th, you guys. And we already mentioned Sarioshima on the show, who was a nominee for Breakthrough Fighter of the Year, was leading the charge and would have got it if Ayaka would have got things done. But now, presumably going to be the main event. I mean, why wouldn't it be? Sarioshima taking on Hime Namiko Kawabata at atomweight. So I'm pretty sure that this isn't a title fight, though, or super atomweight. So kind of weird and completely takes away all of our hopes in terms of, like, if Sari was going to go fight in Deep Jewels, she'd be defending one of her belts, right? But I guess not. She's just continuing to get in reps, which is fine, and I will gladly watch her fight anybody, but I expect her to walk through Hime because it's Sarioshima, and we know how goddamn good she is. But aside from that fight, Miki Matono was also back as she takes on Mizuki Nisei Oshiro, who we did see in RIZIN for RIZIN 32 when she beat Era Koga. Fun fight there. Thought Koga maybe won that one, but it was very close. Hikaru Aono is also back, taking on Mori Suda, who beat Eru Takabayashi her last time out. Yuko Kuryu taking on Sade Numata. Mizuki Furuse keeps on, making up for lost time. She takes on Reina Kobayashi. I believe that's all the fights that have been added so far, but obviously the most notable one will be Sarioshima competing against whoever it will be. So yeah, Hime gets to be the next victim, I suppose you could say. Yeah. So looking forward to that. Deep Jewels, always good shows, and everybody needs to start paying attention because, again, these three ladies that we've talked about in the last three fights, literally, are top 5 in the world now. So, and Mary says, I actually got into MA when I saw Whaley. Maria, her English name, beat Little Cannon on Drudge in 2019. Also started going to Muay Thai because of her. I learned so much from the elbow breakdown. That is very awesome to hear. Yeah, that's great. And, so hopefully you've been enjoying the MMA world so far, because it can be quite a unique one, especially from a fan perspective. But that's awesome that you're learning from Whaley. And I like the Little Cannon nickname for Drudge because that is very fitting. Stamina is here. It says, London calling. What it do, Scrap Packers? Hope 2022 is treating everyone well so far. So far, so good, I suppose. And it's still early going here, and get into the award stamina. So you haven't missed anything in that regard, aside from Sekizawa winning Breakthrough Fighter of the Year, as well as Performance of the Year, capping off with that tremendous victory over Al Kamasaki that we did not see coming. So Chuck says Deep Jewel's booking 4 super atomweight bouts shows they're all in on feeding Ryzen. Yeah, I mean, they kind of have been already, but I see what you're getting at. Steve, I'm going to let you in here because I don't know if you've texted me. So let's see if... Can you hear me, man?
Yeah.
What's up? Have you not been able to join?
I don't know what was happening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Are you on your phone?
Yeah, I'm on my phone. My laptop wasn't connecting.
Well, Steve is here, you guys. It's been a while. All right. Scott says, "What's up, Steve? Glad you are back."
Hey, Scott.
Code Made Day asking, has Deep Jewel surpassed Invicta? I mean, they've been more active this last year. At the moment, I guess it's hard to say no, right?
What the hell even is going on with Invicta?
Yeah, they have really taken their time getting things rolling, but on the way in 2022. Stamina says, Steve looking sharp today. Yes, he is. But yes, Steve, it is obviously the award show, so that is very fun. And I was curious before we got continuing here, thoughts on, I mean, the Ryzen stuff. Obviously, probably sad about Reina, but
I'm glad I missed it.
Tell us, man. So you didn't see yet?
Oh no, I saw it. I'm glad I missed talking about it with you.
Oh, okay. Did you think she should have won though?
It's heartbreaking seeing Reina lose. Yeah, I think that she won. I do. Yeah, she did more. She did more work in that fight.
It was close. It was close.
But it was close. Exactly. It was close. So, I mean, like, how mad can you really be? As big of a fan as I am of Reina, I guess I'm fine with it. I'm not fine because it's Reina. That's literally the only reason why I'm not fine with the outcome.
Right. And it's nothing against Siwu Park. I think she's great.
No, nothing against her at all. She did fine. I mean, she did better than what I thought she would do.
Right. Exactly. And obviously, Seka, I think, did better than we thought she would do as well, man. What do you think about
She's
that?
amazing, dude.
Woo. Yeah. Definitely. I still can't believe it. Still cannot get over that. But again, that was such a bittersweet one, it's like one of them has to lose, and it's Hamasaki like that. Whew. But I think a rightful winner for our breakthrough in performance. Obviously, we were both fine with that, and that's the official pick. So I cannot wait to see what she does next year. I mean, dude, that was her first year in MMA, just like ever.
It's pretty crazy. So, like, we have an award, right? And I thought about it. I was like, well, we have the breakthrough performance, but she can literally win like the rookie of the year type of award too. Like if we were to do a rookie of the year, she would be up there with who I picked as the winner for the other award.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying earlier, and on the intermission show, it's like that's got to be maybe the best first year ever, right? Like to go from starting to beating one of the greatest fighters of all time, who is on top and still champion.
Yeah, no, it's wild. It's wild.
Yeah, it's
pretty damn crazy what she's done.
Yeah. So Sekizawa, sky is beyond the limit, of course. But yeah, we'll continue rolling on there with the news. But before we get to that, Steve, Rue is asking, how'd you feel about Ghost calling you out in the stamp breakdown? If you saw that one.
I saw it. It's fine. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, Ghost.
I have pretty thick skin.
He's been called out worse.
Not much can phase me.
Stamina says that train horn is so America to me. I fucking love it. So many movies as a youngin.
I fucking hate it. Literally live the train track is literally right behind my house.
It's been such a reoccurring theme in the podcast since we began.
Since the very beginning. Yep. It's some days we don't even hear it. Some days it was nonstop.
Oh, I know. I feel like when we first started, it came a lot.
A lot. Yeah.
Very interesting. But James says, "Oh yeah, that was the same breakdown. The dust guy showed up."
Who's dust guy?
He's the guy who.
Oh, never mind. I know who he is. I
dresses up like a cop or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh man, that guy's something else. So, anyways, we'll continue on with the news. And boy, oh boy, they're making all these fights that are like really amazing fights, and I'm glad that they're happening from a fight perspective. But as a me, like liking them as people and fighters, it makes me so sad because one has to lose again, and that's exactly how I feel about Marina Rodriguez taking on Yan Xiaonan at UFC 272, excuse me, March 5th. My goodness, that's a banger. Yeah, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I'm into it, man. I think it's going to be a really good fight. I think that Marina should probably fight, like a Joanna type or even Weili, but I'm perfectly fine with Yan Xiaonan too. Perfectly fine with it. It's going to be a really good fight.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a huge opportunity for Xiaonan, to rebound.
For both of them, I think. Yeah. I mean, Marina could, easily light her up, seeing what Carla did. And then if Xiaonan, turns it around and ends up beating Rodriguez, she's right back in the mix again.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be a good one. I think it just further shows that, like, whatever Joanna's doing, maybe she's done. Like, that's been the fight, and it's a bummer that I guess we aren't going to get it, but I will take this. Fight. Yeah.
But I'll take it. I mean, nobody knows what the hell she's doing. Joanna doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah, and Jimmy says, who is Weili going to fight now? If all the fights are taken.
Oh, man. Tough spot for Weili, I think.
Yeah.
I really would have liked to see the Rodriguez fight. I don't know why they didn't just do that one instead of Xiaonan.
Right, because if, obviously Carla better fucking be getting the title shot. Better be. And then...
Well, I mean, Dana White is, like, on board with it, at least, right?
Yeah, I mean, that sounded like it.
He's acting like he is.
Yeah, from the last thing we heard from him. So if it wasn't going to be Carla, it would have been Marina. So Marina getting this fight shows that, okay, obviously other things getting in motion a little bit. So Weili could have fought either of them, really. But I guess the Joanna rematch could happen. Of course, that'd be great to see too. But like, I feel like after the Rose rematch, we talked about it, was like timing wise, Weili going through these rematches with Rose, and like it can wait on that. Maybe give her, I don't know. I guess Dern and Torres is kind of being rumored. We haven't talked about it in the news cycle because it hasn't been kind of set by anything that I've seen, but that's kind of being rumored. So because like Dern versus Weili could work. Dern versus Torres, they already fought. Weili and Torres, that is, but I don't know. We'll see, Jimmy. That's a pretty good question. Maybe the winner of Watterson Heat-Boss? I don't know.
That's just too low for her, man. Yeah. I don't like that for her at all. Because I don't think that second Rose fight was too close.
Right.
For her to go down so much. Like Watterson, Watterson, really? There's like levels to, when you look at it, there's levels to the and Watterson's not there with Weili, I don't think. As much as I like Watterson, I don't think that she's at the same level as Weili is. Weili literally just fought for a title.
Yeah, and arguably won. So,
yeah.
I mean, you could do Lemos, I guess. That seems like a jump for her, but also, I don't know.
I mean, that's a tough fight. that's
Oh
a
yeah,
tough fight for Whaley. Like, what if she loses?
yeah,
Because Lemos is kind of a monster, man.
little bit, but yeah, good question, Jimmy. We'll have to wait and see on that, but yeah, Marina and Jiaonan should be very fun. Hurts me a little bit personally, but that's okay. Love them both, so I'm still excited for it. But yes, so 272, good one for that card. As we move along here to the bantamweight division, and Alexis Davis taking on Euleja Stoliarenko February 5th. It's a UFC fight night. This fight is just fine. Steve, what do you think about this one?
Fine with it. It's fine. It'll probably be fun.
Yeah. I mean, you look at how Yulia was when she was on that winning streak after leaving the Ultimate Fighter, she was just getting armbar after armbar, and then had the crazy war with Versosa, and obviously on the ground, Alexis Davis. Always a very fun time, and then pretty underrated boxing for the most part as well, even in her increasing age. But yeah, I'm fine with this one. Both could use a win. Yulia more than Davis, but I think it's a somewhat more favorable matchup than what the Panda she had and then Yana before that. So, yeah. And Rue saying real quick that Whaley said she wanted to fight in June, so would anyone be available? That's, I mean, of course she better be available in June, but hopefully before then.
Quite a while.
That's the summertime
between fights.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, she better be ready by then. Ideally. But yeah, so. All right, and then we continue on with the bantamweight division, and I love this one from one half side, and I'm confused by the other side. I just hope it's not a train wreck in terms of getting to this fight, Steve. But we got Aldana's back, not against GDR, but Aspen Lad for April 9th, which is UFC 273 in Brooklyn. What does this one?
You just never know. I think it's probably going to be a good fight if it gets into the octagon.
Yeah, if it happens. That's the thing is Lad at bantamweight. I think if something goes wrong here, that's it. That is
what
absolutely.
Do they do? Yeah, what do they do?
I mean, geez, that's almost like, I hate to say it, but that's almost like cut territory, because if you don't have this division at 145, we're gonna be totally honest, especially with Nunes maybe going to be in a spot. Who knows how the rematch is going to go? I think we both believe she'll beat Pena, but come on, it's Aspen Ladd has had troubles with 135 pounds, and in this matchup, it's it's favorable for her, at least in the grappling, of course, but on the feet, she's going to get pieced the fuck up, man. Especially if Aldana comes in as we know she can, and how she looked in the last fight. She's going to have a field day, So, James saying, I see we are already overlooking Whaley if Lemos fights her. Everyone said the same thing about Andrade. Everyone said the same thing about Izawa like I did. Why do we do this? I don't think it's overlooking Whaley. It's giving respect to Lemos. That's how I feel about that.
Yeah, we're not overlooking Whaley. I mean, she was
we
champion.
We just said she arguably beat Rose.
That's a tough fight.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with a fighter having a tough fight against another opponent.
No, not at all. But Stamina says, War Aldana with the MX right there.
She's so good.
A good time. I'm still very bummed, though, that this is not GDR. So
what the hell's going on with her?
Yeah, that's a great question. I wish he was more active, but all right. We mentioned Invicta earlier, and my goodness, Steve, for their return with Invicta 45, they're really adding the numbers to this thing, because at flyweight now we got Helen Peralta taking on, Elise Pone on that January 12th card, which is that's next week, isn't it? Yeah, that is next week already. So how about that? Invicta coming up. We'll have to preview it when we get there, but yeah, they just keep on adding. I think this is the 8th or 9th fight. I know we've been looking at it each week now, but kind of crazy. They're making the cards bigger, huh?
It's good. I mean, that's good that they're doing that. They need to give these women somewhere to fight.
Yeah.
And more often too. Like 9-10 fight cards are good.
Yeah, I'm not
Every
gonna
couple of
complain.
months. Do it.
Mm-hmm. And Helen Peralta, always a fun fighter to watch as well. So good to see her back in there. And yeah, the more the merrier when it comes to Invicta. And yes, Jimmy, he says, didn't Ramona Pascal get a fight on Invicta, or did you already go over that? Yeah, we talked about it when the initial bundle of fights were announced. But yeah, Ramona making her Invicta debut, her U.S. debut on this card next week against Courtney King, who you will remember got bludgeoned by Kayla Harrison. Very sad time for her, but now she's taking on Ramona in Ramona's debut next week. So yeah, that'll be cool. And good potential gateway for Ramona to get to the UFC where she wants to get. So that'll be cool to see her kind of do that. Oh, okay. Chuck saying Invicta's still a 6-fight card. 1 fight got scrapped. All right. Well, that's a bummer then, but that makes maybe more sense as why things have been shifted around. Because yeah, I remember it started off with like 6, and then they added 1 last week, and then they added this one. So have we lost 2 fights then? I don't know. We'll talk about it
Go
next
bigger.
week. Yeah. I'm fine with like less than 10, but between like 6 and 10, I think is good.
Yeah.
James says another Americana arm lock for Ramona. We'll see. I don't know. That's a very specific pick there. But and Steve, since you've been gone, Kelly Clarkson song, that is. But we've started doing Fan of Punch breakdown predictions as a fun little mini game throughout the episode. So Rue says JJ Aldrich prediction, which I'm sure is not serious, but it is still funny to read. And he says, wouldn't Valentina be a good breakdown? Not sure why Ghost doesn't want to do that, because when you're perfect, what do you need to have broken down? That is what Ghost says. At least he has in the past. Might be putting words in his mouth. But either way, I like that prediction. JJ Aldrich, give her some love. But okay, Chuck giving us the news here saying Lauren Mueller versus Claire Guthrie got scrapped, as well as Rose versus Whiteyear.
That's 2 of them.
Which I don't remember even seeing that one on the lineup, but I remember Mueller and Guthrie, obviously, which was going to be a pretty decent fight. So, okay, well, that's a bummer. Still at 6. Makes a little bit more sense now, but all right. And Ghost says he said that sarcastically. My goodness. This guy. All right. Moving on to another one of Steve's favorites. Got a fight announced, I believe, just yesterday, as at flyweight. Sabina Mazo is returning as she takes on Mandy Bohm, the March 12th event.
Bohm needs to turn it around. Mazo needs to start quicker.
I mean, she got off to a pretty decent start there.
It was
in the last
all
fight.
right. Yeah, it was all right. Bohm just looked like crap.
Yeah, that was one of the worst game plans of the year. I think if we're gonna hand out awards,
yeah, there's an award right there. Yeah.
My goodness,
we're not doing negatives.
No negatives, because we like to keep positive. But yeah, that was a very, very surprising performance from her, just to kind of not even bother with her grappling, which has gotten her plenty of wins in the past, and then try to strike with Lipsky of all people was not a great idea. So she should do the opposite of what she did last time here against Mazo. Because I mean, still striker, still a solid striker she'll be taking on. But yes, obviously Sabina has had kind of the slow starts throughout her career. But yeah, picked it up a little bit, I thought, against Agapova, but Agapova just kind of had really improved and took her out on that one. So yeah, I'm fine with this matchup. I think it should be should be interesting.
It'll probably be an entertaining fight.
Yeah.
But I guess it just depends on Bohm, how she goes into this fight.
Yeah, I agree. So Jimmy says, and he asked about this, I think 2 weeks ago or so, Steve, but he was asking about where you can watch the earliest WMA Todays before we were at the scrap. And I told him that there were 3. You remember there were 3 that we did on video when we were with Cage Side, I think, when we were with Cage Side after getting absorbed by MMA Today, which is where the beautiful idea came from. But he says, by the way, saw the earliest WMMA Today. It's so much better when the chat is involved because, yes, we didn't do it live. So that's good to know, Jimmy.
We agree.
Yeah, it really changes it up. So,
Yep. It was fun. I mean, it was just us getting started.
Yeah, for sure, especially with the video aspect. All right.
We used to not do video.
Yeah.
it was a real podcast.
Exactly. Centro says, is the Phantom Punch curse real? What if Mazo loses again? Ghost cursed her. Clearly it's not real, Centro, because Sekizawa just pulled off one of the biggest wins in all of history. And
Please no loss for Mazo.
Yeah. And then, I mean, there's plenty of other examples.
My favorites are losing. I can't take it.
Yeah, and Ayaka, like you said, 1 after 2. I don't think it's real. I think that's a bad coincidence with some of them. That's for sure. But yeah, no, I wouldn't say we're at that point. Stamina says, I like this pairing. Mazo and Bone both have some rebuilding to do. This is good matchmaking, in his opinion. Yeah, we agree.
Agree.
I'm fine with that one. So, all right. Well, this has been fantastic timing, I think, because that wraps up the news for the week. So, Steve, we're doing the Phantom Punch breakdown this week before the award show because the show is all about the awards, and Ghost, being the wise man that he is, knew it was an award show. So there is no question at the end of this Phantom Punch breakdown, and it is probably the shortest one. It is a part of the mini Kazushi series. So there's a little bit of a hint, but I absolutely love that after weeks of predicting now and making your guesses, you guys were all wrong. But now this time, the very first guess it nailed it. I don't remember who said it, but you nailed it. It is Kana Watanabe week. Get the flags out, everybody. Or Phantom Punch breakdown number 22. It is time to give Kana some love on the Phantom Punch breakdown. I'm surprised it didn't happen earlier, honestly. It would have been the first one. Ghost, come on. As we get back to some Kazushi. So let's pull it on up. Again, just a quick little one as we get into the awards after this and give the appreciation to all the great fighters of the year. As Rue says, Kazushi. Jimmy says, I guessed that. Yep, you nailed it right away, man. Very quick. Very proud of you on that. You should get an award for best guess of the year. Stamina waves the flag. James Kana Army. In Kana, we stand, says Rue. Centro with the flags out. All right. Enough of that. Let's just get to it. Can't wait to see Kana back in 2022 as well. Let's pull it on up here as we go full screen for the Phantom Punch breakdown. Kana Watanabe. This is Kazushi episode 4, mini-series within the series. As Kana overhooks the opponent's right arm. Head control. Kana sets her base. These connections consolidate the clinch. Kana is now in position to off-balance her opponent, Kazushi. Opponent tries to free the wrist by moving away from Kana's overhook. Keep in mind Kana's wide base. Opponent exposes the leg on the single collar tie side. Opponent breaks her own posture by trying to go under the single collar tie. Kana preps her inside trip. Inside trip fails since the opponent base is outside of Kana's hips and pushes herself into the collar tie. Now it is impossible to complete the inside trip from this position. Instead of Kana going for the inside trip, she chains her trip into a hip throw, first by posting her leg. Second, Kana takes advantage of the connections from her tripping leg and the hip of the opponent. Lastly, the posting leg acts as a fulcrum point, while Kana applies opposing forces along that fulcrum point to initiate a cool throw Kazushi moment. Bam. Kana lands in half guard. Some judo for you. Let's rewatch the sequence in full speed to see just how fast Kana is able to make her adjustments to chain her inside trip to hip throw. Let's do it. I don't see why not. Fantastically executed there against Kang Hee-foon. Let's review the sequence in slow motion to appreciate the small details of Kana's inside trip to hip throw chain. It's the little things. And as I mentioned, no question this week due to the award show and Pan Kana Alliance as he throws in there at the very end. Gotta love the greatest collaboration in MMA, which is Pan-chan and Kana. Am I right? As Steve is black screened at the moment. That's okay. So, all right, let's check out the comments. Good stuff there, as always, from Ghost. Gotta love Kana Watanabe. Just a great personality, a fun fighter. Jin says, love Kana. Rain says, Kana Loretta. James, what a way to start the new year. Indeed. Indeed it is. Citro says, already clinching. Rue says, base connection. Jin says, Kazushi is so cool. Posture. Rue nailing all the points. James says, the principles literally show up every week. Gotta love it. It's long-term storytelling, as they say. Jimmy says, love this mini breakdown. Love this mini breakdowns. So detailed, and I can use it right away in the training room. There you go. And Alan says, very cool throw. As James says, also says cool throw. Rue says, no spicy talk this week. We got awards to get to. Centro slow-mo and fast view. Jen says, Pan Kana Alliance. Pan Kana Alliance, LOL. Rain says, Pan Kana Alliance. Ah, ghost. Jimmy says he didn't expect Pan-chan to show up. Head Kick Audio, Steve is here. Great to see you, buddy. Happy New Year. Hope you're doing well. Steve is in the background of the studio right now, figuring out his technical issues. But yes, Happy New Year. Great to have you, man. We're about to get to the awards, so stick around if you can. The rest of the awards, I should say. Sayaka Izawa has already won the Breakthrough and Performance of the Year. Breakthrough Fighter of the Year and Performance of the Year awards for 2021 here at WMMA Today. Congratulations to her. Phenomenal year. James says mini breakdowns. So detailed. Gotta be. Absolutely gotta be. No. Jin says the Pan Kana Alliance. Good one, Ghost. Indeed it was. All right, now he's on his computer. You hear me? Steve? The fun of live podcasting. As we are getting ready for the 2021 WMA Today Awards. Just waiting for Steve to... Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, we're good. Awesome. Perfect. Let's get into it right away here. And if you are joining now with this fantastically timed moment on Twitter or YouTube, specifically Twitter, get on over to YouTube if you want to interact and share your thoughts on the awards and what your winners are, yada, yada. Because if you're on Twitter, we cannot see your comments, unfortunately, or see you, actually. So it would be best to come on over to YouTube right now while we're live. And if you're not live and you're listening to this in the future, sorry, but that's just how it goes. All right. So let's get on with it. But before that, might as well check out Rain here saying can Kana fuse her skills with Pan-chan so she doesn't get destroyed by Liz Carmouche. Hopefully. That would be nice if we could go back in time and have that happen. Do a little bit of the what was it in Dragon Ball Z when Goku and Vegeta did the they had the earring things that combined them into one person. What was it? It wasn't Gogeta or anything. I don't remember what they called them, but you know what I'm talking about. For all you DBZ nerds out there, the only anime I've ever
I'm
watched.
sure somebody will know. Fusion dance.
The fusion dance. There you go. He had it. That's probably where he got the idea.
I knew somebody would know.
There we go. There we go. But all right, let's get to the awards, at least the rest of the awards, as I mentioned. The Potara earrings, says James. They all know. I love it. Oh, man. Okay. We're going to start off with the, not the first award, but the first award of the final sequences here. And Steve, I'll let you start off with this one since I did take care of the first two technically. And this is 2 for 1 because I figured might as well combine them since the same person is getting 2 awards. So for your upset and comeback of the year, take it away.
Juliana Pena, because she beat the GOAT, Amanda Nunes, at UFC 269 just last month. Nobody saw that coming. It was amazing. It was just mind fucking blowing that she did it. Amanda Nunes is literally what Drake and I have said since the beginning. Probably it was either her or Cyborg. She ended up being Cyborg, and she was the best female fighter ever.
That's why she's our logo.
And then all of a sudden, right? And then all of a sudden, Juliana Pena coming back from being a mother, talking all that shit, ends up beating the best. That hell of a fight for her. Hell of a comeback and an upset. Amazing. If you were to put $100 on this fight, $100, just $100, it was over plus 1,000 for Pena.
I mean, it was one of those cases, and we talk about it whenever there's crazy odds like this. Generally, some Kayla Harrison fights, but in cases like this where the odds are that big, why not put some down?
It's worth it. Yeah, it's worth it. Just think, like $100, right? Or you don't even have to put $100. Put $20 on that. You still come out with good money.
Right. I mean, yeah, if there's a place that allows you to do 20, then yeah, for sure. But yes, this was obviously the one that's gonna be upset of the year for practically everybody. I mean, it's definitely one of the greatest upsets of all time. And I will tell you guys, my pick for this was Sakezawa because I think she should win everything. But in the end, why I was okay with not arguing about this with Steve was, well, for obvious reasons, this one's fucking crazy. But it came down to, for me, because on paper, I think that, I mean, on paper and like terms of career differences, I think it goes in favor of Seka, right? But the thing that made me okay with sticking to Pena on this one is the fact that when you go into the fight, I gave Seka a better chance than Pena, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, I was still incredibly surprised by both of them, and especially how they played out. Both finished in the second round. That's both crazy, but I had less belief in Pena, that's for sure. Like, I did not give her any chance. I saw no path to victory for her. I saw at least ways that Seka could have won.
Well,
you know,
the only path that I saw was using her wrestling.
Right. Which wasn't even how she ended up really winning, though. You know, like,
yeah, no, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was. So that's what it came down to me.
This shit was literally mind fucking blowing, dude.
Yeah, and also after getting dominated in that first round, he's looking like a typical Nunes performance, and then she rallied back really quickly in that second round. So
wild,
beating a double champ, beating the GOAT, all those things. Yeah, I mean, I'd be an asshole to complain about this one winning, but ultimately, what I said,
it didn't have to. We didn't even have to argue about this like at all.
Yeah,
like I just said it, and Drake was like, "All right,
Yes, exactly.
Like, how can you go against it? Like, really, how can you go against this?
Yeah. And Jin, he knows me. He says I already got it for Drake. Yes, that was my personal initial vote, just because I'm still amazed by that. But she already won 2 awards, so 3. We can give out 2 of them also to Pena. Go says nobody actually saw this one coming. He's always more reasonable since she was technical skills that mesh well together. Exactly. That's exactly why for me. And Head Kick Steve, if you didn't hear Steve, he wished us Happy New Year's while you were fixing your technical stuff. So he's here right now, and hope you guys have a big 2022. To you as well, Steve. Sir. The man. Go Pack Go. We're getting close, man. We're getting close again. Fingers crossed it all goes well.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It's looking pretty good. And Ghost says Pena hasn't done anything remarkable until this fight. So yeah, this was incredible. I mean, we all agreed with that, right, Steve? She shouldn't even have got the title shot, right?
And yeah, no, dude. We talked about that. Like, we were like, what? Why is Amanda Nunes fighting this woman? Literally, she was the only one who believed in herself. She was the only one that believed in herself. That was it. Maybe her manager and her daughter.
Coach's daughter, yeah. To the usual suspects,
right?
So
crazy.
It was definitely insane, especially being there for that one. Stamina says, "Yeah, I saw no path to victory for Pena either. It was an inevitability to me. Yep, the last time I felt that strongly pre-fight, Chris got slumped by Amanda. Should have learned my lesson then."
Crazy, man. Like, it's just wild how Amanda Nunes' career has gone, like her career trajectory, where she's beating Cyborg, who at that time we thought was the best, right? And then all of a sudden she's champ, right? And then she loses to fucking Juliana Pena. Like, what the fuck is even happening?
2020 was fucking crazy. It's obviously all these upsets. I mean, this is even without mentioning Demetrius Johnson losing. Like, there were just some across the world in general. But Rain says this was crazy. James says the true mom champ. Hey, don't disrespect Sayori as well. She's got twins. Centro says agree with this one. Not sad about Amanda losing, but very sad for Hamasaki. There you go.
I think that's what it is. It's like we're more sad for Hamasaki than we are for Nunes, because Nunes still has a belt too. She still has a belt. She's still a champion. Sure, she lost a title, but she still has one.
Yeah, and I mean technically so does Ayaka, but not double champ as well. So yeah. So congratulations to Juliana Pena for the incredible feats that she had there, especially in that fight. Amazing. Particularly. And that'll be another crazy rematch. So yeah. All right. As we move along to a fun category indeed, and one that it was kind of tough. I had to think about it a little bit, but then once I kind of realized, I felt like this was a pretty solid person. I have a nominee in mind that I think we should mention, but I think this was the rightful winner, Steve. Obviously, you didn't have any debate about this one either. So
there was really no debate, and any. We typically see this eye to eye on things.
Mm-hmm. So your most violent fighter of 2021 is the Bellator featherweight champion. Chris Cyborg Justino.
Yeah, look how that's what she does to people. Look at the screen. That's what she does to people.
Yeah, and like obviously that Sinead Kavanaugh knockout was pretty violent, pretty good stuff. But then Blanco. She just dismantled. Leslie Smith was before that one, I think, and Blanco was a good one too. But was that one this year? One of those, obviously, I don't think it was. Let me see.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't Blanco. It was definitely Leslie Smith.
And that was just a 5-round punishment before finishing her at the end. But yeah, Blanco was the very end of 2020. So just those two performances was good enough for us. And my goodness. So, I mean, Cyborg's always been one of the most violent fighters ever, clearly, and it helps when you're an absolute destroyer like she typically has been and is.
Yeah,
but yeah. So
it's just kind of a bummer that we
congratulations.
never got to see the Nunes Cyborg 2 fight.
Yeah, that is one we missed out on. That's for sure. But in terms of some other nominees, I thought like Melissa Gatto, actually, when you think about it, she had the Leonardo fight where she broke her arm. And then after that, the sweet teep to Sajara Eubanks. I mean, those are pretty good violent finishes, but
Yeah,
not enough in terms of the violence. So congratulations, Chris Cyborg. Always going to be a candidate for some type of awards at the end of every year. I think that is fair to say. But alas, we move on to another good one. And this one was a pretty easy category as well, Steve. I mean, my goodness. Great year that this individual had. So take it away, my friend.
Yep. So UFC Newcomer of the Year goes to Casey O'Neill. King Casey did her thing. How many fights did she win this year? 2 or 3? Was it 2?
3-0, all finishes.
Yeah, all finishes. Amazing. And I think that she's really just climbing the ladder now.
Oh yeah, I mean, going to be taking on Roxy in the next fight and Roxy's retirement fight.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, and I mean, if she can go out and finish her, then which she's been doing, so who knows? That'd be a bummer, obviously, for Roxy in the retirement fight. But yeah, a very good year for especially first year for Casey O'Neill. One that even going into that Procopio fight, a fight we thought that was too much too soon for her, totally proved us wrong. Ends up finishing her and getting her released from the UFC, which I'm still upset at the UFC for doing that. But then afterward, beats down Antonina Shevchenko as well. So, yeah, doesn't get that much better when it comes to your debut year in the UFC. So, big things appear to be coming. I mean, there's plenty of good young flyweights, but yeah, she definitely had, I think, in terms of, I mean, activity, 3 fights and then 3 finishes. I mean, that was always going to be tough to get past. As James chimes in and says, so sad for Joe Gatto. He left in Practical Jokers this year. Can't pick Melissa anymore for Joe Gatto. Did he really?
Yeah, what happened with that? I saw that he wasn't going to be on, but I don't know why he's not there anymore.
You can't do the show without him.
It's weird. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, I didn't see anything of why he left.
They should just stop then.
No, it's still gonna be funny as shit. But it's like a little piece missing.
Definitely. As Ghost says, I saw that too. James so said 10 years of laughter just gone. And he says, but still watching Practical Jokers every Thursday at 9 p.m. PST. Well, getting the plugs in there. Whenever I mention Melissa Gatto, we got to talk about Joe Gatto. Yeah. But yes, congratulations to Casey O'Neill. Very excited to see that Roxy fight, and then what 2022 brings. I mean,
yeah,
my goodness,
3 more fights for her.
Yeah, why not?
She's down. I mean, I think she's down.
Yeah, the Roxy one is pretty early this year. I think it should be coming up here soon. But nonetheless, keep the show rolling. So we get on to the next award, which was another fairly easy feeling one. As we look at the flyweight division still, and our most improved fighter of the year is one KGB, Andrea Lee. Steve, I mean, how great was she?
She was good. Like, we always thought that she was good, right, Drake? I mean,
yes,
we've always thought that she was good. But then, she had a little bit of a fall off. but then she came back in this past year and won 3 fights or 2 fights?
It was just the 2, Calvillo, and before that one was, I'm blanking on it right now. Let's pull it up real quick. Who did she beat before Cynthia Calvillo? Obviously was just looking at this the other day. Oh, it was also Antonina. That's right. It was a rough year for Antonina. Obviously.
Oh yeah, she had a bad year.
That's all right. But yeah, no, I mean, this was 2021 was the Andrea Lee that we saw in 2021 was the one that we kind of expected to see from the get-go. And I mean, she started off very strong, but didn't 3-fight winning streak, didn't finish any of those opponents. Then went on a 3-fight skid with some fights that she arguably could have won. And then I think turned it around to the point where she's looked better than ever in these last 2 fights. I mean, my goodness, that Calvillo performance was phenomenal. And then obviously did very, very well against Shevchenko as well. And, setting herself up to be like at least a fight away from a title shot. We'll see how that goes. But Andrea Lee coming on with some momentum here.
Props to Scott. Look at that.
What do we got here? Let me see. I'll full screen.
$25 on Pena, and he won $250.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Very nice. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Why not? Give it a shot.
Yeah.
And Ghost says, I agree with this one. She added front kicks and threw an inside low kick against Calvillo. So automatic win for Ghost, of course. Stamina says, sorry, what did Leadus win? I'm trying to work here, so a tad distracted. Most improved fighter of the year, Stamina. We got the ticker at the bottom there. So a good turnaround there.
He's not trying to look at that.
Yeah, he ain't got time for that. And Rue laughing at Ghost with the inside low kick meme. And James says it continues. And Alvin says, congratulations to all the award winners. Such a phenomenal year for all fighters. That's our guy. Jin says, is Ghost psych again? He knew the awards would take a long time, so made a mini breakdown. Well, I mean, I don't think that's much of a psychic. That's just a good prediction to make, right? I mean, seems logical to me. No offense to Ghost, but yeah. And yes, Scott, that is a great point. We should give some props to Jed Mishu over at MMA Fighting, who predicted this, so he took the flyer on it. There you go, Jed, earning you some money. That's fun to hear. But yeah,
let him know.
Let him know as well. He'll be happy to hear that. But Ghost says that's just me being respectful. And Christopher Edwards Bailey here. Great to see you, sir. He says no awards for Ghost. I mean, everyone already kind of unanimously decided last week that the final breakdown of 2021, the Jackie Boonton breakdown was the best one because it was kind of a super breakdown. So figured we decided that last week. But of course, Ghost gets best breakdowner analyst of the year. Goes without saying, I feel like, Chris. But yes, we'll give him all the love. But yes, I mean, Rue is also great. He says, F Jed Mishu, we robbed Drake of a clear victory twice. That is 100% factual. Yeah, so robbery of the year goes to Jed Mishu over me on BTL back in, I think that was the summertime. So yeah, good point, Rue. Good point. We'll definitely have to shout that out. But all right, let's keep it going. And we get to another one of the more fun awards. This one, I mean, this one should be talked about by everybody, and it has been talked about by a lot. James says, yeah, what the hell? Where's Ghost Award?
Yeah, next year.
Come on.
We'll do the best. We'll do the best of next year.
There we go. And Mr. Lee says I'm still the gloat, at least on this channel. I don't know what the gloat means, but I'll agree with you. Mr. Lee, good to see you. All right. Now it is time for the best finish of the year. I'm sure that some of you can guess this one. This one got a breakdown, so that's when you know how goddamn good it was. Phantom Punch breakdown number, I want to say 14, if my memory serves me correctly, but the best finish of the year. One of the best finishes you might ever see. Absolute masterclass from one Emily Ducote getting the knockout against Danielle Taylor at Invicta FC 44. The Mortal Kombat finish.
Amazing.
The Eat My Donut knockout. Just fantastic. I mean, Steve, what more? We've said all we need to say about this thing in the past. It was just fantastic. Yeah. And one of the best photographs in MMA history as well. I love this picture.
I think that we'll be talking about that knockout for a long time.
Yes. And I mean, the fact that this was also like a title winning knockout makes it like a little bit better, you know?
Yeah, I agree. But Ducote is, fuck, dude, shin to face. Like, that's tough. It's tough.
That's a tough loss indeed. But yeah, that was sensational stuff. A very well-deserved victory for Emily Ducote. I mean, she worked so hard for that. Very excited to see what she does next year as well. Very well earned. I mean, just one of those speechless, beautiful, beautiful knockouts. Awesome stuff. Congratulations to Emily Ducote. And Mr. Lee correcting it says, I'm still, oh wait, no, he said that already. And he said, greatest Lee of all time. Okay, sure, fair enough. But yes. And would you look at who we got here? The Zhang Weili Zhao Peng Instagram account is here. I won't say your real name if you don't want me to, but she says, congrats, Ghost. Thank you so much for tuning in as well. Great to see you here for the awards as we are wrapping up. We just have 2 more to go. What a year it has been. Great stuff. And look at that notification bell is working its magic. That is how she saw that it was on just in time for the fight of the year, which this one, I think initially, Steve, might have been the hardest one to pick. Like, I had to really think about it. And I mean, obviously, the 2 that it came down to for me, you know, they kind of came to my mind right away, but I had to think was like, there weren't actually that many that were like insane and like stood out a lot. Like, of course, 2020 was really easy, right? But we had even that same year, Stoliarenko and Versosa, you know, and plenty of others. But I don't know, this one was tough for me. I had to really narrow it down. And we ultimately came to 2 title fights and then one over the other. And
the boys aren't going to like it.
The boys aren't going to like it, but it was a great fight. And I mean, hey, it's another award for Weili because it is.
Well, is it though? And we have the Team Magnum fan page here. Oh,
she's a good sport. Fight of the year 2021. Rose Namajunas versus Zhang Weili 2, which took place at UFC 268. And yeah, she was actually at that fight as well. So yeah, I mean, it was phenomenal. This was a great fight. I know, obviously, the outcome that most of our chat here will not have wanted, if not the entire chat, but
literally everybody.
Yeah,
all of us.
Can't deny that this was an amazing fight and in a year that, again, like I said, was very tough to kind of narrow it down to. I mean, the other one for me was Hamasaki and Kan Asakura too, which
amazing fight.
Yeah,
it was an amazing fight.
Fantastic. Just 3 rounds compared to this one being 5 rounds, but they had the similarities of both being like coin flip decisions. You know, like could have seen either one go either way. Obviously, most people think that this one, or at least a little bit more people think that this one should have gone the other way. If you look to like MMA decisions.
No, yeah, I think a lot of people did.
Yeah, no, most people, you know, agree. First 3 rounds for Weili, or the last 3 for Rose. It all comes down to that 3rd round. No debate about it. But
yeah,
either way, this was the highest skill level in the best women's division in the world. So, I mean, it's no surprise that once it finally got to play out, unlike the first fight, that it ended up being pretty goddamn great. So,
yeah,
I think it's a rightful winner. Congratulations to both of them. I would love to see a trilogy at some point. Obviously, it doesn't make sense at this current stage, unfortunately. No. But yeah, this was a great fight, and in a fight that actually, it was hard to kind of think of ones that were on these levels. So. Yeah, and Rain says this was an incredible fight. Not the result I wanted, but it's fair. Clearly the two best in the division. So,
yeah.
Let's see.
Well, one of the best fights in 2021, period. Doesn't matter, man or woman.
For sure. As Jimmy says, yeah, well done to both. Weili showed new skills, so not angry about it. Just excited to see Weili fight again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would love to see her fight sooner than June, though.
Yes, definitely. That would be very nice. So congratulations to both of them. Congratulations to Weili for, at least in our books, getting 2 Fight of the Year awards back to back now.
Pretty crazy. Maybe next year, 3, depending on where Weili goes.
For sure. But yes, very good fight of 2021, which leaves us now with the last award of the year, the Fighter of the Year, which another kind of tricky one to narrow down. This was kind of a 3-person race for me. I know a lot of people would say even more than that. Several names involved. But we'll get into why this was our Fighter of the Year. But a fighter, at least, of the year every single year, whether she gets the number 1 spot or not. Steve, you want to take it away?
Yeah. Fighter of the Year for 2021, Valentina Shevchenko. Two wins in 2021, 2 knockouts. She just keeps on doing her thing. I think she's pretty damn close to being the greatest woman to ever fight. I think she's close now, man. Now that Nunes is lost one, she's right there.
I mean, she's been right there, but I still don't know if I'm ready to say. I don't know if I'm ready to go that far just yet, but I mean, Valentina this year definitely convinced me that she is about as flawless of a fighter can possibly be. Just perfect everywhere. And the only time I've ever felt comfortable saying that is about GSP. So I mean, hey, that's some high praise there. 2 of a kind at this stage. And this year for Valentina to do what she did to Jessica Andrade, who we thought would put up a better fight than she did. That was not the case at all. Valentina just handled her easily.
It's just tough with Valentina. You can think that you have the game plan, and you just don't have the game plan.
Yeah, exactly, which was pretty much the case with Lauren Murphy. And we saw how that one went. First finish loss of her career as well. Just impressive stuff. I mean, Valentina is just always as sharp as attack, if not sharper than that. So when you just kind of look at all little elements of what she does and what she did in 2021, was all right with that one. And generally for me, always for me, really, I kind of look at what fighters did the entire span of the year, because if you're giving out an award for the whole year, I think you should really look at what happened throughout the whole year. Makes sense, right? So for me, Pena shouldn't have got Fighter of the Year because she had that one amazing moment, which was, fucking huge, but it was that one at the end. Before that, the Sir McMahon win was good, but I don't know. I feel like not to the same level here. Just 2 wins. Marina Rodriguez, phenomenal year. Yeah. She had 3 wins, 3 incredible performances. 2 of them where she was pretty big underdog against Hebus and Dern. That for me, Personally, I think I'd still give her my own personal UFC pick. And then, of course, Sakuzawa, I'm going to just give her everything. So I think by
She
beating
gets all the
Hamasaki,
awards.
she gets them all. She's right in there, too. And if Ayaka would have won, that would have been the same thing, because that would have been 3 wins for Ayaka.
I think if Ayaka would have won that third, she probably would have been Fighter of the Year.
Yeah. So it was a tricky one. And I don't think that Rose beating one person twice. Yes, it was Weili, great person, but beating one person twice and the second time very controversially, I don't think that should give it to you. So I didn't really think she should have been, but between like kind of those other 3 or 4, I could see arguments for. But I always look at the whole picture here, and for after Ayaka going down, that kind of made it a little bit easier to narrow. And Valentina, I mean, she's always got a strong case. So, Rose says, Ghost, I think this deserves a breakdown. He says, keep asking, buddy. Just keep asking. And Jimmy says, as long as it's not Rose, good stuff. Damina quoting Murphy, saying she's never fought anyone like me. And we got some breaking news. Hilarious here. Zhang Weili Xiaoping says, Rose just followed the fan page yesterday. So
that's wild.
That's kind of funny.
It's pretty wild.
That's kind of nice of her, actually. That's cool. Good support.
Yeah. That's probably like more props than anything.
Yeah.
There's respect.
Hey, maybe they can be friends after all, just like Weili wanted. Yes. James says, posing with a fake monster can and the ring card girls edges it for Valentina, the most complete human being on the face of the earth. The fake monster. It's a real can. There's just no monster.
There's nothing in there. Yeah.
I forgot all about the posing with the ring card girls, though. That is funny. But yes, congratulations to Valentina Shevchenko. And I mean, she also made her acting debut this year. So if you want to consider that.
If you want to say that.
I still haven't seen the movie. Have you seen it?
Oh my God. Yeah, I watched it.
Disappointed?
Brutal, dude.
Oh, man.
Just really corny.
That hurts me.
It was to be expected, Drake. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
Like the MMA is never good on TV unless if it's real fights.
Right. I mean, Warrior's probably far and away the best one, right?
Yeah, that was good.
And Here Comes the Boom, honestly, even though it was a comedy, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. No.
That is MMA though? Like
hey man, Kevin James, he trained a little bit.
I guess.
Oh man. But all right. That will conclude the WMMA Today 2021 awards. Congratulations to all of the winners. Another year in the books. Another fun one. Excited to see what 2022 can bring. I keep wanting to say 2020, which makes me feel like, oh God, like we're stuck there, which we practically have been. But
yeah, 2019 to 2021, all kind of together.
Yeah, for sure. So Scott asking, what happened to meanest fighter, best and worst walkout? Remember that episode where we all sent those in?
We did. We did. I sent them to Drake. Scott.
The list was actually not as long as I expected it to be, but we had to make sure we didn't go on forever here, and thankfully we made pretty good time actually. But I mean, we did discuss actually best walkout. And worst walkout is like, I don't know. I don't ever really think of walkouts being bad. I think of them just more as like, it's
forgettable.
Walkout. Yeah, whatever.
Just forgettable.
But when it came to best walkout, Scott, if we want to do an unofficial award here, because I don't have anything set up, we did, of course.
About it.
Yeah, Stamp is always in the running, but I think we both agreed. I liked Reina's for Miyu better than this one on New Year's Eve, specifically because like she was just so happy to like be fighting
comeback.
after.
It was the comeback, dude.
Yeah.
She wanted to really be there. You saw it, like she was glowing.
That accompanied by her, like the way she dances to Zettai Makanai is always so fun. Like she's, it's just, that song gets fucking stuck in my head every time she fights. It's like, so it's just a very fun walkout that she has. But I mean, if you want to talk about men's walkouts, Scott, holy shit, the Shibatar fight.
Brian Ortega, dude.
Oh, I mean, yes, we did talk about that. A couple weeks ago as well. That was my pick, followed by Adesanya. But there were some pretty good ones. And meanest fighter, I mean, that's pretty much most violent, right? I mean, that's practically the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know who the meanest would
unless
be.
you guys want to give Cheyenne Bays an award, which I know you don't.
Kayla Harrison.
That would be a good pick too. Yeah. So appreciate the thoughts anyway. Rain says PanCon Alliance and Team Magnum. Indeed. He says it's all good. I was just trying to be funny. No worries. I appreciate you anyway. Stamina says a walkout, even being noteworthy, deserves praise immediately. Most are unremarkable, one way or the other. Yeah, exactly.
Unless if they scared the shit out of somebody in the audience.
Yes.
Right.
Like myself. and Ghost says, who gets the positivity award this year? It's a no-brainer. It's the Alvin Award, which is named after him, and he'll win it every single year. So we'll have to do it for somebody else, but it'll be the Alvin Positivity Award of 2022 this year. Yeah. So Greg Johnston came late, but yes, he loves Whaley. Better late than never, man. Go back and rewind and check out all the awards we just handed out. Good, fun year. James says the Alvin Award. I love to see it. Yes, it's great. Oh, man. But all right. We can wrap up on that note as we get ready for one more week off before Invicta next week, Steve. And UFC's back next week as well. One Championship's back next week. Panda versus Mira. Meng Bo and Tiffany Teo. There's a lot coming up here to start off the year, as expected. So, going to be a good one. Going to be a big one. So, thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Fantastic time, as always. A great 2020 when we had. I said thank yous last week, but I'll say them again. It means so much that you spend your Mondays at these hours with us. If you haven't already, for whatever reason, don't forget to follow us. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, just like the Team Magnum Instagram page does. At Steve K _MA, at Drake Riggs _ at the Scrap News. Wherever you can find your podcasts, YouTube, Twitter, Live, Anchor, Spotify, you know by now. And if you don't, now you do. So, Steve, when will we get the first MMA Inc. of 2022?
Hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon.
A couple weeks, I think.
Indeed. Very exciting. And Stamina with a good point. He says Lupi Godinez is a contender for the Alvin Award, as is Amanda Hebus. Those girls are hella positive. I mean, yeah, Hebus probably win it every year.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Even during loss.
Yes, even in defeat. And yes, Happy New Year to you as well, Scott. 2022 gonna be great, baby.
Keep making that money, Scott.
Keep it up. So, all right. As for me, I'm kind of starting out a little bit slow this year just because I'm working on some of the other projects and really need to finish them up. So I don't have any interviews booked to come out right this second, but I did catch up with Meng Bo last week. Always very great chatting with her, turning into one of my favorites to talk to. As I said, she's fighting next week against Tiffany Teo. She shaved all her hair off after her last loss, similar to Whaley. Just a thing they're doing, I guess, when they lose these days. And now moving up to flyweight, and very excited to show off what should be some new power. And she's very humbled by that loss to Ritu, Steve. I don't know if you caught the interview yet, but it was it's very interesting to hear her sound, like she understood how overconfident she was. Because, of course, Meng Bo was very confident on her winning streak, thought she could beat absolutely anybody. And now she seems to understand the weaknesses. So it was very interesting to hear that from her. So check that out. MyMMAnews.com, my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Drake Riggs, and all that. So thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. And thank you so much for tuning in. Xiaopeng, she had to check it out because Ghost recommended her. So kind of him. My goodness.
Amazing, Ghost.
Yes.
You're amazing.
So, all right. Steve, you haven't closed us out in a while, my man. Let's just take it away.
Thank you to everybody who tunes in on a weekly basis every single Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whenever you watch the show. Drake and I appreciate it very much. 2021 was a great year for the show. More viewers every week, it seems like. Love that the community is growing a little bit. We have a great fan page that came to the chat today, Drake. Amazing. If you don't come join the chat on a weekly basis, it's okay. I just can't say thank you to you because I don't know who you are. I only know the people that are in the chat because I see their names and I see their beautiful comments every single week. If you want to come join us every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time on YouTube every single Monday. Same bat channel, same bat time. Until next week, have a great week.
Peace.